Every warrior walks a different path. Samurai, the path of discipline. Ronin, the path of independence. Ninja, the path of strategy. Zen monk, the path of wisdom. Shogun, the path of power. But the path of temperance is never a straight line of flawless victories. When the initiate stumbled, when environmental pressure fractured his center, he deployed the fourth law, Wabi-Sabi, the profound acceptance of imperfection. He did not allow an isolated mistake to rewrite his identity or declare his entire journey a definitive failure. He observed his falls not as permanent ruin, but as a temporary loss of vertical alignment. He treated his fractures with the same dignity with which an artisan repairs a broken vessel using gold threads, understanding that the scar is the real testimony of the material's resilience. He woke up the next morning and returned immediately to the basic form, preventing remorse from paralyzing his advance. Finally, the monk reached the summit of the mountain through the execution of Gambaru, the silent perseverance to sustain the march through the freezing winter. When the terrain turned hostile and his muscles demanded rest, he did not open a debate with his fatigue. He locked his jaw, lowered his center of gravity, and sustained the weight of duty until the storm passed. He endured the discomfort because he knew pain is a temporary visitor, but surrender is a permanent mark that devalues character. He moved his execution into an unyielding constant of nature. You are looking for an exit right now because the clinical precision of this bofeton makes your justifications burn. Your eyes want to drift away from the text, or your fingers want to swipe down to find a lighter video to rescue your ego from this mirror. That is your action paralysis fighting frantically to keep you small. I do not care about your emotional comfort. If you are satisfied being a smoke gladiator who trades his children's childhood for numbers on a screen, click away. Return to your endless meetings, your late-night emails, and your slow, millionaire, unremembered isolation. But if you have even a single spark of dignity left to rescue the sovereign master you were before the hurry, stay. Close the perimeter. Submit to the balance. The mechanics of your failure are obvious. You treat your life like a corporate sprint instead of a dynasty of constant presence. You fail because your ego demands material trophies instead of cultivating the wealth of an immovable center. You must execute memento mori every morning at dawn. Remember that you are going to die, and time admits no returns. Turn off the background noise, put a definitive limit on aimless ambition, and execute your presence with your loved ones with absolute military precision. Purge the hurry. Lock the context. Mata la negociación. Be the constant. But today, we explore the path of the Zen monk. You are a smoke gladiator. You hoard bank account figures, corporate labels, and short-range material victories, while your interior space remains a complete desert. You work 16-hour days building an empire of paper to shield your family from a financial scarcity that no longer exists, entirely blind to the reality that the only thing your children demand from you is a living witness to their existence. You call your career addiction responsibility. You call your blindness ambition. I call it an absolute existential cowardice that uses corporate busyness as an emotional anesthesia to avoid facing the functional emptiness of your own home. The philosophical paradox of your progress is absolute. You pursue wealth to buy freedom, Yet the structural machine you build transforms you into a permanent slave to your own overhead. You are an invisible ghost financing a vacant fortress from exile. There is a toxic, unresolved mystery behind your inner collapse, an automated neural loop that mistakes material accumulation for vital purpose, disabling your consciousness before you can even register the value of your loved ones. You think your family needs an infinite trust fund. In reality, they just need a father who sits at the breakfast table without a flat pane of glass flickering between his hands. You sell your prime years in the market of hurry, sacrificing your health, your bonds, and your sovereignty on the altar of status, completely blind to the fact that money is a toxic fuel for the soul. Success that is not shared with active presence tastes exactly like ash. The ancient standard of the Zen monks demanded an absolute anchoring in communal utility and the transcendence of being. Spirit survival did not depend on material opulence. It was sustained through a conscious articulation of a reason to breathe. Modern decay has convinced you that you are a linear production machine that must run until total mechanical failure. You live in a permanent spiritual bankruptcy because you treat your time as an infinite resource to exchange for paper currency, completely blind to the reality that every second that passes is a centimeter of life dissolved forever into the abyss of oblivion. Within the severe, frozen perimeter of the mountain temples, existence was never negotiated with the demands of the ego. The morning air carried the bitter sting of forest ice, the freshness of damp bamboo shoots, and the absolute stillness of a rock that has watched centuries pass in silence. The masters did not accumulate surpluses to validate their power. They executed the Ikigai protocol, the conscious alignment of the spirit across 4 foundational coordinates that sustain the human structure. The initiate did not seek external validation. He sat in the posture of the void, silencing the internal narrator until his action was a direct reflection of his essential nature. The master did not compete with his environment. He became an immovable axis that nourished his community through a craft executed with honor. Once Ikigai cleared away the interference of status, the initiate applied the second law of the balance. Kaizen, the patient progression through microscopic improvements. He did not attempt to modify his destiny through an erratic burst of force. He took a step of a single millimeter at a time. He drank a bowl of clean water at dawn, with his mind fixed on the present, training his nervous system to stabilize before the storm. Networks in his cerebellum automated calm, moving behavior from the hyperactive logic of the prefrontal cortex into the stable circuits of his internal biology. This invisible foundation sustained the 3rd step, Hara Hachi Bu, the unyielding rule of 80% moderation. In the philosophy of the monk, a body saturated by excess was a heavy, noisy obstacle, unable to perceive the movement of the universe. The warrior trained his physical vessel to operate in a permanent state of lightness and constant temperance. He did not consume food until satiety. He stopped his march the exact instant biological necessity was resolved, leaving 1/5 of his capacity empty. He broke the primitive urge for total gratification, transforming his digestion into a silent, efficient engine of clean energy. Every warrior walks a different path. Samurai, the path of discipline. Ronin, the path of independence. Ninja, the path of strategy. Zen monk, the path of wisdom. Shogun, the path of power. Which one are you? comment below.